I used to wear men's fragrance, actually, all my life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it lasts longer. Always does.
Well, the men didn't, but the fragrance definitely did.
The classic flap or the Hermes Kelly.
The Chanel flap.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not sheep of brands coming into India at that time, and I was there when Emporio
so
was.
that you're the reason we have all these brands in India now.
Perfume business is for every single brand bigger than the clothing, the clothing side or the accessories or the fashion. The
recent red carpet failure of all. A powerhouse in the fashion industry. And not a lot of people know this, but she was actually the first Indian brand ambassador for Dior and then went on to becoming the VP. She's a style connoisseur and one of the most influential women in luxury retail. Please welcome the one and only Kalyani Saha Chawla. Hi.
Thank you so much, Begum, for having me.
Absolutely. It's honestly an honor to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Kalyani, everyone knows you as the ultimate authority on luxury. But today I want to dive deeper into your world. From being at the helm of one of the world's most iconic brands to shaping the luxury landscape in India. You've done it all. But let's start from the beginning. What sparked your journey into the world of luxury and fashion?
Actually, this was possibly in my trajectory of my entire career, somewhere in the middle. I was already actually exporting fashion accessories, which I used to design and export to some of the largest fashion houses. I started off with Harrods, evening bags. I used to make bags, mainly bags. Then I went into a little bit of jewelry at some point and some scarves as well. But I used to design handbags. So it went into evening bags. First one was Harrods. And then, lots of these lovely brands in the UK, Spanish brands, and then I went into, got this opportunity which was amazing with Zara and then Mango, but I've done belts for Ralph Lauren, I have done amazing things for this lovely English brand called LK Bennett. I've been in Mango campaigns, LK Bennett, many campaigns, River Island. I've done, so many names. I made some customized shoe uppers for Jimmy Choo, but Jimmy Choo himself. And I can't tell you who got those shoes, but someone pretty iconic. So, I started my journey into fashion as part of my work many years before I joined Dior. And the culmination of my past experiences really helped me with my job at Dior, because I was basically doing marketing and communications for Dior. And I ran for very diverse magazines. I learned everything about luxury, I think, from Mr. Oberoi himself, because that was my first job. And he truly, I was employed by him. I was interviewed by Mr. Oberoi, and I really learned about luxury and what it entails from Mr. Oberoi himself. And I think I'm so fortunate to have done, have had that lesson from the best. And all these past experiences kind of culminated into what I did for Dior, because you're working alongside magazines, and Dior came into India in 2006. It was the beginning of all the international brands coming in. So there was this whole exodus of brands coming into India at that time, and I was there when Emporio was.
So can we say that you're the reason we have all these brands in India now?
I can't take quite credit for everything, but it was a very exciting time, because I remember when Emporio was being built. It was the first luxury mall in India, and P.R. Singh, whose baby it was, Emporio. We sat and we worked on the whole geography of the ground floor where all the international brands were supposed to be. Dior wasn't meant to be where it is actually located now. So it's been a huge journey of learning, and my experience with Dior has been absolutely amazing. It's been there were so many things that one would have never known of, and I'm like a sponge. I really take in information, and I have applied that from my days at the Oberoi, whether it was about exporting, whether it was like for magazines, and one actually learned so much from these experiences. So when I knew how magazines worked, what the deadlines were, how the features worked, so that came into being very, very important part of my job at Dior, because I understood how actually these things work. And about luxury itself, the luxury customer, because my days at Oberoi, and how we have to cater to them, and then having been a consumer myself, the first luxury bag I ever bought in my life was a Lady Dior black velvet bag with gold charms.
Wow.
Yes, and I felt so guilty having spent whatever I had at that time, which was a fraction of what it costs right now. But I gave it to my mom. I said, "Mom, I got your gift," and she's like, "That's really extravagant." And yeah, but it was like I had got a fantastic order, and I was in Paris, and I was feeling happy and wanted to splurge. But really, that was my first luxury buy. Can you imagine? Wow. It's surreal.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
It is.
How you've just told us about how it was a big deal to buy that bag at that point of time. Yeah. Luxury has always been synonymous with exclusivity, but do you think now it's changing, like over time?
I think luxury brands, luxury goods, they are exclusive. They are what they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it depends on what you want out of it. We all have our own limitations, or we have, no, I wouldn't say limited. I think we there's something that you want out of it. It's very aspirational. Somebody who may not actually possibly could afford a dress, for example, a couture. I worked with a couture company, or even a dress, because the clothing is very expensive, or even a bag for that matter. So you start off, by buying these entry-level products, like maybe a pair of sunglasses, perfumes. Now, the perfume business is for every single brand bigger than the clothing, the clothing side, or the accessories, or the fashion. So that's how I think aspirational buying is for young people, for example, and I think it's wonderful, because you can just buy a perfume and still feel amazing.
Get a piece of the cake.
Absolutely.
Maybe a tiny bit, but
yes, because I think aspiration is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because then you have to earn it.
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
My team at Luxury Leather Love, we focus on revamping luxury items. So,
right.
Vintage bags, etc. Now, do you think retailers look down upon businesses like this because it stops people from buying new, because we're into upcycling and the whole sustainable aspect of it?
This is such an important, it's really, really, really important that we all step back and think about the environment. Look at what we are living with, and world over. We are end of November. Delhi is normally cold at this time. There's global warming, etc. This is a serious matter. A few generations down, I don't know what we are leaving behind, and we have to be a little bit more mindful about the environment. It cannot just be a hashtag anymore, sustainability. It is something so serious, and we don't think or act upon it as much as we should. So this buying pre-loved. Now you see every important retail, every important retail outlet, say a Selfridges or a Harrods, they all have pre-loved sections now.
Yeah.
All of them.
Wow.
They all have exactly what you're doing, repairing your mother's maybe vintage bag so that you can wear it instead of buying something new. And today, see that also fashion is now changing, the mindset is changing. People are looking to wear vintage. The vintage stores today are more spoken about than going to a new store to buy a new bag. That is what fashion is, digging up from your mom's closet or something that you haven't worn for the last 10 years, or shoes that are just lying a bit, but they're good shoes.
Yeah.
They're from a good brand. All it needs is a little nip and tuck, and that's what you're doing. And it's so important to do that. It is so important. I'm actually thinking of digging into my wardrobe and actually selling a lot of my wardrobe, because I feel, I don't wear so many things, and people have homes and assets. I have clothes and shoes. So
And if it's been worn by you, the value anyways goes up.
good to know that.
Moving on to our next segment, where we're going to be deep diving a little into some information that we want. What's the biggest myth about luxury fashion that you want to debunk?
That you need to buy something from every season.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Because people, it's just this whole making a fashion statement today is that, oh gosh, she's got the latest bag from Dior, she's got the latest. And there are certain things, because thanks to social media and Instagram and the influencers that promote the latest bag or the latest shoe or the latest, a particular garment, it has become disturbing almost, because you're hankering for that particular object, which actually becomes not so desirable after 5 months.
Absolutely.
Because there's something else. And this is exactly where sustainability is taking a complete dive.
Yeah.
Because nobody is doing as much as one should to say, hey, do I really need another bag? Or if I actually do want to add to my wardrobe, which we all do, let's go to a vintage store, or let's try and get something which is pre-loved, whether it's Net-a-Porter, whether it's Farfetch, where any of these sites that you look at, they have a pre-loved section today. So, invest in that. Invest in buying something, and not a pre-loved item, I would say, than going and buying something new. And yes, you have to give it to the brands. They have to, they can't just shut shop and say, okay, let's not have another season. But maybe we don't need 6 seasons.
Absolutely.
We don't need to have a cruise and a yes, or autumn, winter, fall, winter. Then there's spring, summer. Maybe one needs to cut down on the seasons. Why have so many seasons? There's no need for that.
Yeah.
Broaden the summer and bring in a little bit of the cruise into it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to have so many seasons. And this is just, the carbon print on this is just awful.
If you could define new age luxury in 3 words, what would it be?
So I think first, it obviously is an aspiration to buy something. Secondly is to save for that something. And third, that when you earn and actually buy it, I think earning to buy that is really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then people who buy luxury, they don't really save, do they? To buy a bag.
Yeah, but you know what?
No, but I think this should be at least for the younger generation, I think you need to earn what that want is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Something fun. What's the most outrageous thing a client or a high profile client may have asked for at Dior from you?
I think there was of course the desire to go see couture shows. Honestly, money can't buy that, because either you have to be a customer of couture and a spend of a minimum amount, that too, or run a winter. It's really actually difficult to get an invite to a couture show. It's very, very special. So
you had your phone buzzing up saying...
I did have requests. Yes, I did.
For someone looking to make their first big luxury purchase, what are a few things one should keep in mind?
When you spend a certain amount of money, what is really important is to see the longevity of that particular product.
Right.
If you buy a bag, are you going to make it classic? I feel, as you know, I have bought so many things over the years, and when I come home and I'm like, good Lord, am I ever going to wear this? And you know, when I was younger, I've actually collected stuff. Like now my daughter kind of appreciates it, and you know, thank God she can wear it as well. But a lot of times when I have thought that, oh, it's again hankering for the latest, and you want to be trendy and you want to be with it, and then you're buying something which actually has no longevity in the long run. So I learned this, actually my mom once told me, saying quality over quantity. You know, buy that one good bag, buy those black trousers which you think you can get in Zara or wherever else, high street. One pair of good black trousers which fit you really well, a beautiful white shirt. Buy it, spend that money, because you know what, that white shirt will not turn yellow after a few washes because of the fabric used. So this is it about luxury and the brands. It's the quality of the products, it's the quality of a fabric, of the leather, of just the hardware, which is not going to tarnish, which is not going to fall off. You know what I mean? So that's how it's an investment for sure. And it's become so now because again, you know, you can sell pre-loved, and you know, look at the prices of even good brands of pre-loved. It's not exactly cheap, right? So I think when you buy something really expensive, you have to see, okay, am I going to wear this 5 years down the line? You know, I think that is super important. Yeah.
What is the minimum bank balance one should have to buy a Lady Dior?
Oh, good Lord. There are various sizes of Lady Dior, as you know. So
the mini,
the micro, there are various sizes. I think a Lady Dior bag is a must in everyone's wardrobe. It is, but there are also many other bags, I'm sure. But you know, the classics, a classic Chanel, a classic Gucci, classic, you know, these are classics, you know. So every house almost has a classic bag equivalent to, say, a Lady Dior. So I would say you have to firstly like what you're buying. Just and be comfortable and happy wearing it, and something that you'll be happy to wear 5 years down the line as well. And it's not about how much bank balance. You know, these things cost a lot of money. So you have to see, I think, what you want, you truly desire. And if you truly desire, and yes, go for it. I would say go for it.
So basically, there's loans for everything these days. It doesn't matter.
No, well, unfortunately, there are no EMIs that anybody offers on luxury brands. I think that's a business by itself. What say, right? Yeah.
Why do you think fashion is important in daily life?
You know, I think respect for yourself. I mean, whether you're coming to work, whether you are going to someone's house and for a meal, and it could be just your friend and you. I mean, come on, forget about respecting your host, you know. Have respect for yourself. For me, since I was very little, I grew up in Calcutta, I've always dressed up. I mean, I've been this crazy dresser, okay? So, I mean, I had a grandmother, both sets of my grandparents have been, you know, have shaped who I am today. Both sets of my grandmothers were, for me, my dadi was like this fashion icon. Her middle name was Rani. Wow. So Kalyani Saha, she took Rani middle name very, very seriously. We had a permanent tailor in the house. So she used to travel a lot. Yeah, those days, because there were no brands available. Right. So we used to go buy fabric and have cutouts of Vogue, because she used to travel a lot. Like my grandmother, she got me my first string bikini because she liked this Italian guy, and God knows where she was. And she said he was really cute. I didn't say it was for my granddaughter. I just said it's for my daughter. So, of course, it mysteriously disappeared into my mother's cupboard, never to be found again. But that was my grandmother, a string bikini, for God's sake. But the thing is that she was this amazing fashionista, and we had this tailor, and whenever she traveled, which she did very, very often, she used to get back these magazines. That was my only want, those days. And clothes, of course. So she and the tailor used to sit and make from cutouts of these magazine cutouts. So, I've always kind of been kind of out there, and when nobody in Calcutta quite dressed like that, I did, So fashion has been like a huge part of my life, always. So it's not that one day I suddenly woke up and said, oh, I need to be fashionable. No. And then about dressing up, I think if I think I look good, I feel great. It's a great way to start your day. Dress up for work, wear something nice, which is, and put on liberal makeup or whatever it takes. I mean, I'm not saying put the concrete on, but I'm just saying that you just have to feel good. And I think no one feels good in flip-flops and pajamas. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you've had a heavy night.
Yeah, well, even then, get into a nice whatever.
Silk robe.
A silk kimono.
Now we're moving on to the game round. The first round is a logo quiz. So I have a couple of logo placards here, and you just have to guess the logo.
Yep.
I think we're going to shoot right away.
I can see McQueen. Yes, Alexander McQueen.
Yes.
Ferragamo.
Lovely.
Chanel.
Something easy.
Yes. Givenchy.
Yes,
one of my favorite brands.
Yeah. And the last.
Versace.
Yes, absolutely. I actually did this segment with someone, and someone said Starbucks.
Oh, lovely. I love it.
The next game, luxury budget challenge. If you were given 10 lakhs, how would you spend it in one day?
Oh, so easy. Give me any amount of money, I shall spend it like this. That's why I never, ever, ever carry cash with me, because I have no idea where that goes. This is I know, pertinent question for you, Begum, but if I had money today, I would save it. Yeah. Honestly, it's the only thing I would do. You have money, you save it. I would not waste money today. I have enough. And I have a daughter who never wants anything. I can't drag her to a high street brand and make her buy something, And as I keep joking with her, I said, honey, my wardrobe is your only inheritance. And she's happy with that because that's a huge, I've literally collected things, I've collected, beautiful things over the years. And I'm so happy that I did. She comes for holidays now and she's saying, oh my God, Mama, look at this jacket. Like, where did this come from? And she always my closet is not large enough, so I'm not keeping a lot of stuff the way it should be hung and all that stuff. So but that's another story altogether. My wardrobe is never going to be large enough.
But now you're tempting me to ask you if you can one day meet and actually go through some of the stuff in your collection.
Yes.
And maybe sell it if you
No, I have to. I have to,
So the next game is what's in your bag. What is in your bag, Kalyani?
Okay, so I leave the house in the morning and I come back at night. So this is...
Is that a Dior, I see?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I love the colors.
Yeah, this is such a cool bag.
You're always going to be their brand ambassador.
I know. So this is a little pouch that I have, which has some important things which I reach out for. My credit card, since I actually don't have any cash ever.
Which is a wise decision.
For me, yes. Lip gloss. I don't... this is... Guess.
Dior,
Yes.
of course.
I actually don't use lipstick. Funnily enough, I've stopped using lipstick. So a good gloss, yeah. Battery charger. You need a power bank.
Must need.
My eye drops because my eyes dry out very, very quickly. This is a very special thing. So I'm a great Guruji Bhakt. So this is a special prasad. So if I have really important meetings and stuff, I put a little bit. I'm very lucky to have it actually. But the other things that I have is my AirPod, a protein bar.
Yummy.
And I do chant, so that's my chanting book because I don't get a lot of time, so I chant in the car a lot. Yeah, and I always have my book with me, old-fashioned little diary, because I'm just getting old. If I don't write things down, I forget. And of course, my glasses. Gosh, I have a lot in my
Glasses
bag.
are also Dior.
It's a cover of Dior. I'll be honest, these are actually one of my favorite brands as well, Celine.
Yeah.
And I love these glasses. So my sunglasses, some mint, because I think it's almost rude not to have some mint in your bag.
Absolutely.
And some nuts on the go. Yeah.
It looks like you really live on the go.
Yeah, I do live on the go.
Everything.
Yeah, I do, because you know what? I mean, I can't go home if I, these are my essentials. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we should take some tips, because if we have those things in our bags, maybe we can never be, but maybe we'll be closer to embodying Kalyani Saha Chawla. I'll be naming some iconic bags, and you just have to choose. So it's like a bag of. Let's start. The LV Neverfull or the Goyard Tote?
I think both have the same function. I'll be very
have to choose
honest.
one.
Oh my God, I don't know. I think the Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. The Neverfull or the Chanel Classic Flap?
The Chanel Classic Flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chanel Classic Flap or the Hermes Kelly?
The Chanel Flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I'm not cheap.
Okay. The Chanel Classic Flap or the LV Cappuccino?
Chanel Classic Flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chanel Classic Flap or the Birkin?
The Chanel Classic Flap.
Yeah. Well, you might be changing your answer now. The Chanel Classic Flap or the Lady Dior?
Since I have plenty of Lady Dior, still the Chanel Classic Flap.
So Chanel
Yes.
through and through.
Yes, yes.
So we basically should be gifting you one the next time we meet. The next time we meet. Until then, hoping for more podcasts and more money coming our way.
Amazing.
Okay. Kill, marry, hook up, but make it luxury. Dior, Gucci, Jimmy Choo.
Kill with Jimmy Choo heels.
Marry Dior and Gucci.
I'll marry Gucci. I like Italians. Yeah.
Yeah, they're hot. Even the cops. Have you seen, especially the cops?
Why do you think I go there every summer? Haven't got arrested as yet. Yeah, getting into a lot of trouble.
And that basically means we are hooking up with Dior.
Yeah. It's a good hookup. Yeah, Dior is always a good hookup.
Okay, so you've survived the banter. Now it's time to move on to our next segment, which is the rapid fire. We have a lovely hamper curated for you. It's curated by BOLLYWOOD Moose Spirits.
Nice.
And we have luxury leather love coupons for you in that, so you can come to us for restoration.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
That is lovely. No, that is
And
great.
we also have this brand that imports condiments from outside. So we have some Nando's for you, we have Abby's and Saint Dalfor. Moving on, let's get on to the rapid fire. We have to go quick.
Yeah.
You know you're winning that hamper because there is no competition. Even if there was, you'd probably still win it. Let's go. One luxury item you'd never leave home without.
My credit card.
That is a luxury item. Which year was Dior founded?
1947.
A recent...
I mean, that was actually the first show, 1947, when, Mr. Dior. The new look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the series?
The documentary, of course.
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
A recent red carpet failure, according to you?
Mine?
No, anyone else's.
Oh my God. I really can't, can I? No. I'm not going into trouble.
Okay,
No.
fine. When there's a Chanel in the hamper, maybe.
Yeah.
An Indian designer you think will make it big internationally?
There's so much. I think Anamika should be out there, and she's not because she's so reticent about whatever she does, and she's not that out there kind of a person. But I think Anamika really should be a global brand, and Amit Agarwal as well. I think his craft is absolutely stunning. I wore one of his dresses to the BOF this year, and literally every second person stopped to just see the craft, which you can't see in the photographs, but it's amazing. Yeah, I think these two should definitely. But there's so many young, talented designers, which,
What's Dior's most famous perfume?
Miss Dior. I think it's hugely popular. I love the men's perfume, not because it has Johnny Depp as a ambassador, but the Eau Sauvage. I love it. It's an old fragrance which I love. Yeah, I used to wear men's fragrance actually all my life. Yeah, practically.
Yeah. I think it lasts longer. Always does.
Well, the men didn't, but the fragrance definitely did.
Absolutely. Your go-to guilty pleasure non-luxury brand?
Food, obviously. Yeah. I mean, the guilty pleasure is always food, because one has become so anal about what one consumes, and which has become a bit ridiculous. Yeah.
So is there some chaatwala in some nook and corner of Delhi that you still miss or go to?
Darling, I just have machir jhol and bhat, which is fish curry and rice at home.
Yeah.
That's my biggest indulgence. You know how you've given up carbs and you've given up this, given up that. I mean, I'm so fed up with myself.
I started having this rice. It's shirataki rice, and it's actually pretty good. And
is it?
There's almost 5 calories in a whole bowl, because it's actually from this root of a plant.
Must give me details.
Yes, I will. It takes time to get used to the texture, but it's a substitute.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Bag Begum, and as a token of appreciation, we'd like to give you the hamper.
The hamper is a hugely calorific hamper.
Yes.
But thank you so much. It shall be consumed.
Well, I hope so.
Yes, thank you.
Nando's is yummy. If we take maybe one, we can get a dropper and use one, because I got to know that condiments have so many calories. That you need to be careful. Your salad can't be doused in Thousand Island.
Yeah, Thousand Island dressing. Absolutely not. Yes.
You've had an incredible journey, Kalyani. Just the last few words of wisdom. What's the one piece of advice you wish someone gave you when you started your career in fashion?
I think just that you have to always follow what you're really interested in. I was always interested in fashion.
Yeah.
So, and I made it work. Literally made it work for me, as in making it my work,
Yeah.
So I think I went into it quite accidentally, like I have. I mean, almost everything in my life, I got an opportunity and I took the risk of actually doing that. There was just an inquiry from a friend of making 300 crochet bags. And that's how I got into the business of fashion accessories, which I started designing, and I didn't even know I could design bags, but I did. And I've always been very creative. So I would say that follow something which is, it may be a passion, but are you good at it in terms of honing your skill? So you need to have skill set, because my time was very different. Today there's a lot of competition, so please get into something that you're skilled or you are educated in. Like I might want to open a restaurant, but I really do need to know how to cook a little bit. I mean, water disappears, and no one's perfect.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Like you need to have skill sets of what you get into, but there are ways and means of getting around. Of course, not cooking. You have someone cooking for you. Yeah. But the thing is that I think the only advice I would give to young people today is follow your dream for sure. And when you're young, you can experiment. But try doing something which you're really interested in, and if it doesn't work, don't give up easily, because you learn from your mistakes. And the biggest lessons that I have learned have been from my many mistakes. They've been my biggest lessons. So never give up, don't give up easily, follow your dream, but definitely be aware of your skill set as well.
Yeah.
Those
are really lovely words. Thank you so much. And I hope that a lot of people take some inspiration from this podcast.
Thank you.
And follow in your footsteps. I mean, I would love to.
Yeah, at this age and stage of my life, I think I have my story, which has been very interesting, but yeah, inspirational, because I never gave up. Yeah.
7 times down, 8 times up.
Yeah. No, maybe that ratio may not always be true. But yeah, I never gave up and I persevered. I'm a DHEAT, as they say, so I don't give up easily. And also I've tried so many different things, because sometimes you see what happens is like, gosh, like how, I mean, I've gone into from, running 4 magazines for Indian Express, to getting into fashion accessories, to going into like a couture house like Dior, to opening my own e-commerce brand. I run a art gallery also, I mean, for so many years with my mom. So
can you tell us where it is?
So I don't have a physical gallery anymore, but because my mom and I used to do this together, and then she fell very sick and then finally passed away. So that was 3 years ago. But I sell art. So I sell privately. I sell art. So art is a big part of my life. And now, of course, Raison Silverware, which is, so I've always had that creativity within me. So I've tried so many different things, but I wouldn't really advise that because you need to also stick to your lane. But this is also, again, about risks and opportunities that came my way. It worked for me. It may not always work. So this is something, too much risk also taking is not most advisable. Yeah. I made it work, and I'm very thankful and super grateful for everything that I've achieved, and with the kind of support I had, and sometimes zero support, but I did it, and I'm proud of that as well. Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. You've really been so amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Being the superstar you are, we need a signature.
But of course.
So we've got these most exquisite Raison silver trays.
It is quite lovely, isn't
amazing.
it?
No,
Thank
really.
you. Thank you.
Can you sign this?
Of course. I love this canvas. That is so cool.
It's gonna go up on our wall. And to our audience, stay tuned for more candid conversations and luxe moments on Bag Begum India. Until next time, keep it chic, keep it classy, but most importantly, keep it Kalyani. I'm Sacha Bana. This is Bag Begum India. Thank you. Yay!
I love the keep it Kalyani. I love it.